Aloha, good morning, and welcome to Hatha Yoga Foundations. I hope everybody's staying strong, centered, and healthy this lovely Friday morning. So, I'm going to take us through a nice flow to just kind of get our energy moving, eventually coming into some breath work, pranayama, and eventually into meditation, dhyana. So let's close down our eyes and just breathe together. Don't worry about how you're breathing, just breathe. And whenever possible, I like to use a bolster and or blankets so that my hips are higher than my knees. I have tight hips until now, and it's nice to be able to have this energy flowing downwards. So closing down the eyes, let's start breathing through the nose. And I invite each of you to set an intention for this practice. It could be something you would like more of in your life, less of something in your life, or maybe a person or group of people you would like to dedicate this practice to. I'd also like to take this opportunity to lead us through the first two Yoga Sutras. So once we get the practice down and we know how to say it all the way through, we'll say it 5 times with a loud voice going all the way down to silence. And this represents, my teacher Nikki Doan taught me, that we're going through the 5 different sheets of the body, or the koshas. So we start with this body that we see here, Annamaya kosha. Then we go within to the subtle energy, the chakra system, which is prana maya kosha, which is where our prana, our life force energy flows. Then we start getting into the mind and the thoughts, mano maya kosha. And then we get into that more internal intuition, the wisdom there, and that's vijnana maya kosha. And then finally, when we go into silence, saying it in our heads, that's anamaya kosha or Ananda Maya Kosha, so bliss, that bliss body. So I always invite students to close their eyes as much as possible so that we practice the fifth limb of yoga, the ability to go in pratyahara, so sense withdrawal. So as we close down some of our senses, it helps us to go in easier and not be distracted. So let's take a big inhale, exhale completely. And then let's take a big inhale to Om together. Great. And just so you know, it's more of an ah, oo, and we try to get even length with each of those 3 parts. The especially, it's massaging our pineal gland and our pituitary gland. So we want to really give it our all when we get into the vibration there. So let's try again. Big inhale. Exhale it out. And then inhaling for Om. This will be call and response. So repeat after me. Hatha Yoga Nushasanam. 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 Now the presentation of yoga. This is how the Yoga Sutras begin. And Hatha brings kind of some oomph behind it, letting the reader or the listener know that this is a really special moment that we're going to be witnessing. So, Sutra number 2. What is yoga? Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. 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 Yoga is the cessation of the mind fluctuations that are self-limiting, self-defeating, and self-judging. So the reason we do yoga is to quiet the mind down. So all of these asana practices from the Hatha Yoga Pradipika are really just to help us find a comfortable seated position and to be able to close down and meditate. That is the ultimate goal of yoga. So it doesn't matter, at least to me, how gnarly or intense your physical asana yoga practice is. If you're able to come to a quiet space and sit and meditate and contemplate, you're doing great. All right, let's start moving these bodies a little bit. If you'd like to stay seated on a blanket, that can work. Or if you want to stay on your bolster, that works too. I personally like to just make sure that both of my sitting bones are connected to the earth still. So if I'm raising up on one side, I like to make sure that I have my blanket so that I can keep that energy flowing. So beginning with just some torso circles. And once you hear what I'm saying or see what I'm doing, I invite you to once again close down the eyes and go within. So we're just stirring up some stuff here, opening up our back very gently and slowly, listening to our bodies. So yoga is becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable. Yes, we might be in some positions that don't feel super comfy and our mind might say, this is bogus, I want out. That is part of the practice of yoga, tapas, going through with determination and dedication through those difficult times, which I think can really help in today's day and age and with today's current events. Let's switch back around the other side. And we want to make sure we know our edge. The edge being where we've gone past what we can physically do, not what our mind tells us. Our mind tells us to stop way before our body needs to, but knowing our physical edge, our limitations, so that we don't cross that edge into injury. So, especially if we're feeling pain, sharp shooting pain, especially in the neck, shoulders, wrists, knees, ankles, pull it back a little bit, maybe lessen the intensity of the posture or the exercise, or maybe even come out of it completely. You're always welcome to pause these videos or come into child's pose or even just lay down in Shavasana. So if you're with us and you're in the room still, and you can even imagine yourself doing the posture, that is definitely beneficial. So please don't, uh, please practice ahimsa, non-harm. So with our thoughts as well as our physical actions, we want to make sure we keep these bodies nice and strong. All right, placing the left hand down on our side, we reach the right hand up and over to get a side body stretch. We engage the core fully. Inhale, hands meet above our heads. Exhaling over to the right side. Engaging the core, inhaling up and over again to the left. And this is a great opportunity to begin engaging full, slow, deep inhales and exhales through the nose. So trying to fill up all the way and exhaling all the way. Inhaling up, our hands remain in prayer, and as we remember our intention one more time, we go through the crown chakra, the third eye, Anya chakra, the Vishuddha throat chakra, and coming to our Anahata heart chakra. Bringing our fingertips now to the tops of our shoulders, keeping the elbows in line with the shoulders. So not too high, not too low. We inhale to the left, exhale to the right. And you can listen to your body and see how it's responding. You can go slow at first and just start waking up that back and that spine. Eventually, this comes from the Kundalini practices. It'll be a little bit quicker. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So our breath is a little quicker, yet we still want to try and get full inhales and exhales here. This is often referred to as breath of fire. So we start building that internal fire in us. A mantra that we can use during this is Sat on the inhale, Sat Nam. Nam on the exhale. I am truth. My name is truth. I am love. And the purpose of these Kundalini practices with the mantra, with the repetitive motion for sometimes up to 5 minutes or more, is to get lost in the movement. So when we're saying a mantra over and over, doing a repetitive motion, we can get lost in it. And hopefully we stop thinking about our to-do list or things that are bothering us. And we're just present. As Ram Dass would say, be here now. 20 more seconds. And slowly come to a neutral spine, palms up, tops of the hands on the knees. And just feel that prana flowing through your body. Bringing the hands up now in a high V, thumbs pointing towards one another. We don't want our hands too far back, nor do we want them too far forward. So if we open our eyes and look through the tops of our eyelids, we want to just barely be able to see our thumbs. And from here, can we relax the jaw? Shake it out if you need. Can we let the shoulders relax? Can we hold straight arms? Yogi Bhajan, who brought Kundalini to the West, and if you've ever had yogi tea, that comes from his lineage, would say, keep up and you will be kept up. So there's going to be that tendency after about 30 seconds when the shoulders start burning and our mind says, this is no good, I don't want to do it. But let's keep up. Let's keep our energy strong together. And of course, remembering, am I just uncomfortable and I want to get out of this? Or am I experiencing sharp pains in my shoulder or neck and I have a past shoulder or neck injury and I need to be very mindful of it? So that is your call. Can we slow down the breath and go within? This is also a great opportunity for some really corny jokes. A yogi went up to a Chicago hot dog vendor and said, hey, make me one with everything. The hot dog vendor gave him a little smile, chuckled nicely, made him his hot dog, and gave it to the yogi. So the yogi paid him, but he received no change. And he said, hey man, where's my change? And the hot dog vendor said, change, my yogi friend, comes from within. Boom. Okay. 20 more seconds, I promise. If you really start feeling fiery, you can practice Kapalabhati, skull shining breath, or the breath of fire again. Big inhale, and slowly, controlled and with grace, coming back down and just feeling the prana once again. One of my friends from the Outer Banks would recommend staying in a pose as long as you can still come out of it with dignity and grace. So if we're practicing a pose to the point where we just collapse afterwards, um, we're not doing our Hare Krishna. We're not doing ourselves any good. And that is oftentimes when injuries come. So again, like my friend said, we want to stay in a pose for a while so that we can get the benefits of it, but up until the point where we can still come out of it with dignity and grace, nice and controlled, so that we can practice even more strengthening without risking injury. I'd also like to introduce Nauli. So this is a exercise, a kriya from the Hatha Yoga Pradipika that I practice daily that is a great intestinal, digestional organ massage. The way we do it is practicing Uddiyana Bandha, which is our stomach lock. So we exhale completely, get all the air out, and the stomach comes in. And then from there, we actually allow the abdominis rectus to come forward, kind of like so. And then we can move it around back and forth. So I will demonstrate. So I like to go legs wide, inhale the arms up, exhale completely down, go low, and then up a little bit. And that's Uddiyana Bandha, sucking the stomach in, and I'll show you from the side as well. Maybe I can lower this just a little so you can see. So now when we have that ab come forward and start massaging it, that's the nauli. One more time from the side. And again, we want to come out of that while we still have our breath, not so coming out at the point where we still can come out with control. All right. Another fun movement I like to incorporate is just side to side, letting the arms be loose, giving a nice little tap on our backs. And if you see my feet, when I go to one side, I lift the opposite heel. And for me, that helps to relieve any pressure that there might be on my ankles. Coming back to a seated position for Pai Da, a Chinese tradition of hitting ourselves actually. So we can start with the legs up and down, clapping the feet, and then beginning with fists to wake up our skin. And then being hard where we can, maybe on the thighs or quads. And being gentle where we need to be, like our knees or ankles and kidneys. My one yoga teacher friend would say, rub your knees because they don't hurt. So let's find that part of our body that doesn't hurt right now, and let's thank it for all that it does and how much we love it, instead of waiting until something does hurt to then say, oh, I wish this was better. Let's thank the body we have now. We can come to the feet, a little bit of reflexology, foot massage. Oof, thank you, feet. I love you. Reminding ourselves of our intention again. Coming up into our stomach, digestive area. Going for the armpits, waking up the second highest concentration of lymph nodes in our body. Then I like to bend forward and gently get the lower back and the kidneys. Maybe crossing the arms and doing a little neck massage. Raindrops on the head. Okay, coming into a tabletop position. Wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. This is how I like to do almost every single posture, making sure that I am completely in alignment so that I can have strong growth from my foundation, leading to a more sustainable practice. So as we inhale for our cow, you notice that dip in my lower back as the belly button comes closer to the ground. And I open my heart as I inhale. Exhale, and I press the ground away for the cat. And now you see this curve of the spine. Full inhale, full exhale. And as we begin to wake up our core and start working on our balance, we can inhale the left hand forward and right foot back. And can we keep them in alignment? Instead of being way up here, can we keep those hips level, toes pointed down? Exhaling, we crunch and tap. Inhaling, open. Exhaling, crunch and tap. Inhaling, open.